Imagine waking up tomorrow to a world that has forgotten how to speak. You reach for your phone, but it's a lifeless slab of glass and metal. You check the Wi-Fi, but the signal has become a ghost. You step outside, and the pulse of the city feels wrong. This isn't just a local outage. It's the collapse of the invisible scaffolding that holds modern civilization together. In 1929, the world fell apart because of paper, dust, and bank runs. But in the 21st century, the greatest catastrophe won't happen in the streets. It will happen in the servers. Welcome to the Fate Flip History, where today we explore the dark mirror of our reality. What if the internet and digital banking vanished for exactly 7 days? If the screens go dark tomorrow, are you ready to survive the silence?
The collapse doesn't start with a bang, but with a series of timed connection-failed messages. Let's flip the switch. At 08 UTC, a catastrophic synchronization failure, perhaps triggered by a solar superstorm or a coordinated quantum cyber attack, wipes the global DNS tables and corrupts the ledger databases of the world's top 10 central banks. In an instant, the digital gold standard is erased. This is our breaking point. Unlike 1929, where news took days to travel, this crisis is instantaneous and total. The moment the digital heartbeat stops, the modern world begins to bleed. We have spent decades digitizing our existence, moving our wealth, our memories, and our survival onto a cloud that has now evaporated. We have traded the physical for the virtual, and in this flipped reality, that trade becomes our death warrant. The ripples of this crash turn into a tsunami within hours, fundamentally altering 3 pillars of our existence. First, the death of the supply chain. Modern logistics operate on a just-in-time philosophy, where cloud algorithms predict what you'll eat before you even know you're hungry. Without the internet, thousands of cargo ships become drifting steel islands, and trucks are stranded because they don't know their cargo or their destination. The global brain has suffered a massive stroke. Within 48 hours, supermarket shelves aren't just empty, they are battlegrounds. The intricate dance of global trade, which relies on satellite positioning and real-time data, grinds to a halt. We realize that our dinner doesn't come from the ground, but from a data center that no longer responds. Second, the evaporation of wealth. Less than 10% of the world's money exists as physical cash. The rest is just a series of ones and zeros in a database. When those databases go dark, the billionaire and the worker are suddenly equals in their poverty. Your savings, your stocks, and your retirement fund don't just lose value, they cease to exist. This is the modern bank run. In 1929, people stood in lines for days. Today, the bank doesn't even have a door you can knock on. The stock markets don't crash. They simply vanish. Trillions of dollars in theoretical value evaporate into the ether, leaving behind a world where the only thing of value is what you can hold in your hand. Third, the fracturing of the social contract. We live in a world of trust protocols. We trust that our credit cards will work, that our GPS will guide us, and that the police can be called with a tap on a screen. Without connectivity, that trust vanishes. Panic isn't caused by malice, but by the terrifying realization that no one is coming to help, because no one can hear you scream. The thin veneer of civilization is stripped away as people realize that their digital connections were the only thing keeping the darkness at bay. Communication becomes local, primal, and frantic. The silence of the internet is filled by the noise of a world in chaos. If you were living in this flipped reality right now, the room you were sitting in would feel like a tomb. Your smart devices would be useless bricks. The borders on your map would suddenly matter again, as nations retreat into digital isolationism, hoarding physical resources like grain, oil, and medicine. Governments would be forced to implement analog martial law, printing emergency scrip, and using shortwave radio to maintain a semblance of order. You wouldn't be a global citizen anymore. You would be a survivalist in a local tribe, trading your neighbor a can of soup for a gallon of water. The psychological scar would be permanent. A generation that forever keeps a year's worth of cash under the mattress and views a smartphone not as a tool, but as a dangerous vulnerability. We would realize, too late, that our advanced civilization was built on a foundation of glass, and that glass has finally shattered. As the days crawl by, the human spirit is tested. On day 5, the city lights don't just flicker, they stay off, as the power grids, managed by remote software, begin to fail. The water stops flowing because the pumps can't be told to run. We are back to the 19th century, but without the 19th century skills to survive it. We are a digital species, forced into an analog cage. By day 7, the world is a different place. The noise of the digital age is replaced by a haunting, heavy quiet. We are no longer distracted by notifications. We are focused on the heartbeat of the person standing next to us. This is the world as we know it, flipped on its head by the very technology that was supposed to save us. Here at the Fate Flip History, we don't just look at what happened. We look at what could have been to understand the fragility of our own time. History shows us that every great empire has its fall, but ours is the first that could be deleted with a single command. Do you think a digital Great Reset would ultimately make humanity stronger? Or would it be the end of our species as the dominant force on Earth? If the world went offline for a week, what is the first thing you would do? Who is the first person you would try to reach when you can't just send a text? Tell us your survival plan and your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to see more historical what-ifs that challenge everything you know and explore the dark corners of our possible futures, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join the Fate Flip History community. Your support helps us keep flipping the script on history. Until the next flip, stay vigilant, stay prepared, and keep questioning the reality you see on your screen.